Russia, the largest country in the world, stretches from Eastern Europe to Northern Asia. With a rich history and impressive cultural diversity, its capital, Moscow, is a vibrant center of politics, economics, and art. Russia is known for its vast landscapes, which include tundras, forests, and mountains. Its influence on global politics, its literary heritage with figures like Tolstoy and Dostoevsky, and its contributions to science and technology make it a nation of great relevance on the international stage. Oymyakon, located in the heart of Siberia, Russia, is famous for being one of the coldest inhabited places on the planet. With winter temperatures that can drop to as low as -60 degrees Celsius, this small village of approximately 500 residents faces an extreme climate for much of the year. Founded as a place for reindeer herders, Oymyakon has maintained a traditional lifestyle despite the harsh conditions. Life in Oymyakon revolves around adapting to the cold. Houses are built on stilts to prevent the interior heat from melting the permafrost. The residents rely on protein-rich diets based on reindeer meat and fish, as agriculture is virtually impossible. Despite the low temperatures, the local school only closes when the mercury drops below -52 degrees Celsius. Tourism has grown in recent years, with adventurers seeking to experience the extreme cold. Oymyakon not only stands out for its freezing temperatures, but also for the resilience and adaptability of its people, who have made this inhospitable place their home. Russia is so large that it covers more than 17 million square kilometers, which is approximately 11% of the planet's surface. To put it in perspective, if Russia were a party, you could invite 2 countries the size of Brazil and still have space for a polka dance. Imagine, Russia is so vast that if you get lost in Siberia and decide to call for help, you might have to reach out to Vladivostok, over 7,000 kilometers away. In short, Russia is where the distances are so great that even maps get tired of drawing it. Russia is nearly twice the size of the United States. However, its population is smaller. While the United States has approximately 331 million inhabitants, Russia has about 146 million, highlighting a notable difference in population density between these territorial giants. Russia has so many time zones that, if you make a call from Moscow to Vladivostok, you could wish someone a happy birthday and good night in the same conversation. Traveling through Russia is like passing through a time machine. In 1867, Russia sold Alaska to the United States for the sum of $7 million, which equated to about 2 cents per acre. At that time, many Americans thought they had bought a bunch of ice and polar bears. However, this acquisition proved to be a great deal. By the late 19th century, the discovery of gold in Alaska attracted thousands of prospectors, sparking the famous Klondike Gold Rush. The region became a hotbed of activity and contributed significantly to the U.S. economy. In 1959, Alaska became the 49th state of the United States. Today, Alaska is known for its stunning natural beauty, wildlife, and mineral resources. Its vast territory offers endless opportunities for adventure and tourism, from viewing the northern lights to fishing in crystal-clear rivers. Despite its fame, Alaska remains a place where nature reigns. And so, the big mistake of purchasing this vast frozen land has become a point of pride. Perhaps the Russians should have included a return clause, because now many think they sold the best natural refrigerator in the world. Alaska and Russia are so close that you could swim from one country to the other, if not for the freezing water. During the Cold War, this little Bering Strait became a great metaphorical ice wall. Imagine, neighbors so close that they could have shared fish soup recipes, but instead they spied on each other. Just 4 kilometers apart between the Diomede Islands, a hello from a Russian to an American would have turned into a suspicious, "How are you?" One of the many differences between Russia and the US is how beer is considered. For example, in the US, beer is an alcoholic beverage sold only to adults, but in Russia, until 2011, it was considered food. According to Russian legislation, only drinks with more than 10% alcohol were classified as alcoholic, allowing the unrestricted sale of beer. In Russia, the life expectancy between men and women shows a notable disparity. Women live, on average, 74 years, while men only reach 66 years. This 8-year difference is due to several factors, with alcoholism being one of the most significant. Excessive alcohol consumption in Russia is an endemic problem, especially among men. The culture of drinking vodka and other strong beverages is deeply ingrained in society. Studies indicate that alcoholism contributes to a high rate of premature mortality among Russian men, being responsible for heart disease, liver cirrhosis, and accidents. Alcohol is also related to risky behaviors that increase the incidence of deaths from traffic accidents and violence. A study published in the British newspaper The Guardian showed that Russian men who frequently drink vodka are 35% more likely to die before the age of 55. The Russian government has implemented several policies to combat this problem, such as increasing taxes on alcohol and restricting its sale. However, the challenge persists. Reducing alcohol consumption and promoting a healthier lifestyle are crucial to improving life expectancy and closing the gender gap in longevity in Russia. In Kronotsky Reserve, Russia, bears have found a peculiar pastime. They are addicted to gasoline and paraffin. These bears discovered that sniffing fuel barrels used for helicopters and generators gives them an unusual high. So, instead of looking for honey, they roam around sniffing fuel and rolling on the ground as if they were at a music festival. The reserve's employees now have to protect the fuel tanks from these furry partiers. Who would have thought that the biggest danger to gasoline barrels would be bears with a penchant for strong smells? In Russia, tea is more than just a beverage. It's a tradition. Russians drink between 5 and 10 cups of tea a day, preferably black tea sweetened with sugar. This custom dates back to the 17th century and has remained an essential part of daily life. The samovar, a type of kettle, is a cultural symbol used to prepare and serve tea. Although black tea remains the favorite, green tea and unsweetened tea are gaining popularity. In a country known for its cold, hot tea is the perfect companion to combat low temperatures. In Russia, chess is so popular that even children play it instead of rock, paper, scissors. But it's not the only peculiar pastime. Ice hockey is another favorite, where the fight for the puck is fiercer than a Black Friday sale. And for true adventurers, there's helicopter golf, because who wouldn't want to swing in the air trying to hit a ball with a giant club? Between checkmates, slap shots, and aerial swings, Russians know how to keep things interesting and, above all, extreme. The famous Russian winter hat, the ushanka, is more than just a warm accessory. It's a test of bravery. In Russia, lowering the ear flaps of the ushanka before it gets to -20°C is considered an act of cowardice. Imagine the scene. A brave Russian strolling with the ear flaps up while their face freezes, just to prove their resilience. If you see someone with the ear flaps down when it's not that cold yet, you'll know they've been defeated by winter. In Russia, the cold is a rival, and the ushanka, a symbol of honor. During World War II, St. Petersburg, then known as Leningrad, endured a brutal German siege for 900 days, from 1941 to 1944. Isolated from the rest of the country, the city faced hunger, extreme cold, and constant bombings. However, the inhabitants showed incredible resilience and strength, keeping the city standing despite the adversities. Thousands of lives were lost, but the citizens' tenacity prevented Leningrad's fall. This episode became a symbol of the determination and indomitable spirit of the Russian people during the war. Russia is a cultural mosaic with around 190 different ethnic groups. This diversity includes Russians, Tatars, Ukrainians, Bashkirs, Chuvash, and many more, each with their own traditions, languages, and customs. This rich ethnic mix contributes to the country's vibrant culture, reflected in festivals, cuisine, and arts. From the steppes of Siberia to the Caucasus Mountains, Russia's diversity is a testament to its vast and complex cultural heritage. The famous Russian matryoshka dolls, those charming nested dolls, might have their roots in Japan. Imagine the surprise of a Russian craftsman upon seeing a similar Japanese doll and thinking, "That's great, but it needs more dolls inside." Thus, the matryoshka was born, with the first representation being a Russian peasant woman holding a rooster. Since then, these dolls have proliferated like rabbits in Russian culture, each one hiding a mini army of dolls inside. Who would have thought that the most adorable cultural invasion could have been from Japan to Russia? The iconic game Tetris was created in Russia in 1984 by engineer Alexei Pajitnov. Designed as a test for the capabilities of Soviet computers, Tetris quickly became a worldwide phenomenon. The name combines tetra, four in Greek, and tennis, Pajitnov's favorite sport. With its addictive simplicity and interlocking pieces, Tetris has entertained millions and remains one of the most influential and popular games of all time. The Trans-Siberian Railway is the longest railway line in the world, spanning 9,289 kilometers and connecting Moscow with Vladivostok. Inaugurated in 1916, this impressive route crosses 8 time zones, taking passengers on an epic week-long journey through vast steppes, majestic mountains, and dense forests. On board, travelers experience the cultural diversity of Russia, from the hustle and bustle of Moscow to the quiet Siberian villages. You can enjoy local meals, make new friends, and of course, admire the stunning landscapes. The Trans-Siberian is famous for its punctuality, except when a bear sits on the tracks, leading to an unexpected tea break. And let's not forget the legend that if you survive the endless stories from your cabin neighbor about their cat, you are officially a Trans-Siberian hero. So, get ready for the journey of a lifetime, where every stop is a new adventure, and every delay an excuse for more vodka. The Sky Bridge in Sochi is one of the most terrifying suspension bridges in the world. Stretching 439 meters over a deep valley in the Krasnaya Polyana region, this impressive structure stands 207 meters high. Visitors who dare to cross the bridge are rewarded with panoramic views of the Caucasus Mountains and the Black Sea. The bridge, made of steel and glass, allows you to see the abyss below your feet, adding an extra touch of adrenaline. For the more daring, there is a zip line that runs along the bridge, offering an even more thrilling perspective of the landscape. Those who cross the Sky Bridge often experience a mix of terror and awe, with some even saying their knees shake like jelly. However, the true test of bravery is resisting the temptation to take a selfie in the middle of the bridge while a friend suddenly shouts, "Watch out!" In that moment, nervous laughter and racing hearts combine, creating unforgettable memories of one of the most exciting and terrifying experiences in Sochi. Russia is the largest country in the world, spanning 2 continents, Asia and Europe. Although 70% of its territory lies in Asia, the majority of the population, approximately 80%, lives in the European part of the country. This distribution is due to the concentration of large cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg in Europe, where the main economic and cultural centers are located. Despite this geographical disparity, the Russian people maintain a unified and diverse identity, reflecting a rich history and culture that spans vast steppes, mountains, and various climates that influence their way of life. Lake Karachay, located in the Chelyabinsk region of Russia, is infamously known as the most radioactive lake in the world. Used as a dumping ground for nuclear waste during the Soviet era, it accumulated extremely high levels of radiation. An hour on its shores can be deadly. In the 1990s, the lake was partially filled with concrete to reduce radiation, but it remains a grim reminder of the dangers of nuclear pollution. Its lethal legacy makes it an emblematic site of Russia's environmental problems. The Moscow Kremlin, an iconic fortress in the heart of Russia, is a symbol of power and history. Built in the 15th century, it houses the official residence of the Russian president, as well as several historic cathedrals and palaces. Its imposing walls and towers were designed by Italian and Russian architects, reflecting a unique blend of styles. In addition to being a political center, the Kremlin is a cultural treasure trove with museums that preserve valuable works of art and relics. Walking through the Kremlin is like traveling back in time, exploring centuries of rich Russian history. Lake Baikal, located in Siberia, Russia, is the deepest and oldest lake in the world, with a depth of 1,642 meters and an age of 25 million years. It contains approximately 20% of the planet's unfrozen freshwater. Famous for its clarity and unique biodiversity, Baikal is home to thousands of species of plants and animals, many of which are found nowhere else. It is a natural treasure and a symbol of Russia's wild beauty. Russian forests, which cover approximately 45% of the national territory, are vital both to the country and the planet. Russia is home to 20% of the world's forests, including vast stretches of the taiga, the largest boreal forest. These forests play a crucial role in absorbing carbon dioxide, helping to mitigate climate change. The biodiversity in these forests is impressive, with emblematic species like the Siberian tiger, brown bear, and Eurasian lynx. In addition to their ecological importance, Russian forests are fundamental to the economy, providing timber and other resources. However, they face significant threats such as illegal logging and wildfires. Conserving these forests is essential to maintaining their biodiversity and their role as the planet's green lungs. Norilsk, located in northern Siberia, is one of the most polluted cities in the world. Founded as a mining settlement, Norilsk hosts enormous reserves of nickel, copper, and palladium. However, the extraction and smelting of these metals have come at a high environmental cost. The smelting process releases large amounts of sulfur dioxide and other pollutants, creating a toxic atmosphere. The vegetation around the city is severely damaged, and the rates of respiratory diseases and cancer among residents are alarmingly high. In addition to Norilsk, other Russian cities also face severe pollution problems. Dzerzhinsk, an industrial city in western Russia, was a center for chemical weapons production during the Soviet era. Toxic waste was dumped indiscriminately, contaminating the soil and water. Life expectancy in Dzerzhinsk is significantly lower than the national average. Chelyabinsk, another industrial city, suffers from severe pollution due to its numerous metal factories and power plants. The quality of air and water is compromised, affecting the health of its inhabitants. These cities are extreme examples of the environmental challenges facing Russia. The need to balance industrial development with environmental conservation is crucial to improving the quality of life in these affected areas. The Hermitage Museum, located in St. Petersburg, is one of the largest and most prestigious museums in the world. Founded in 1764 by Empress Catherine the Great, the Hermitage houses a vast collection of art and artifacts spanning from antiquity to the modern era. Its impressive halls display works by celebrated artists like Rembrandt, Leonardo da Vinci, and Picasso, as well as a rich variety of sculptures, archaeological pieces, and historical treasures. But what sets the Hermitage apart from other great museums is its peculiar security guard: the cats. Since the 18th century, cats have been permanent residents of the museum, tasked with protecting the valuable collections from rodents. The tradition began when Empress Elizabeth, daughter of Peter the Great, decreed that cats be introduced into the palace to combat a rat infestation. These felines have lived in the Hermitage ever since, passing down from generation to generation. Today, about 70 cats inhabit the museum's basements, each with its own passport and dedicated caretaker. These cats are so important that they have their own team of veterinarians and receive royal treatment. There's even a Hermitage Cat Day every spring, where the public can meet these furry guardians and learn about their history and care. In addition to their work in the museum, the Hermitage cats have gained fame and affection among visitors and staff. Some have been adopted by local families, though many prefer to continue patrolling the museum's halls and basements. Their presence not only protects the artworks, but also adds a unique and endearing touch to the rich history and culture of the Hermitage. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your like and your comment. See you in the next video.